my friends, welcome to this very special event today. Thank you all for being here. I am truly honored to be speaking to such an amazing and ambitious group of individuals who are hungry to take your lives and your careers to the absolute highest level. You know, I've been studying and speaking about personal and professional development for over 40 years now. And in that time, I've had the privilege of working with and coaching tens of thousands of high-performing men and women just like you from all walks of life. And one of the key things I've learned is that the most successful people, the true outliers who rise head and shoulders above the crowd, have all mastered what I call the art of outsmarting everybody else. Now, when I say outsmarting everybody else, I don't mean in an underhanded or unethical way. I'm not talking about manipulation or deception. What I'm talking about is learning to think differently, to see opportunities that others miss, to anticipate trends and changes before they happen, and to position yourself in a way that allows you to capitalize on those shifts in a way that leaves your competition in the dust. You see, the sad reality is that most people go through life on autopilot. They do what everybody else is doing. They think the way everybody else thinks, and as a result, they get the same results that everybody else gets, which is to say, mediocre results at best. But the true winners, the true innovators and trailblazers, they refuse to follow the herd. They're constantly looking for new and better ways of doing things. They're always questioning the status quo and challenging the conventional wisdom. And that's what allows them to stay one step ahead of everybody else. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That all sounds great, Brian, but how do I actually do that? How do I learn to think differently and spot opportunities that other people miss? Well, my friends, that's exactly what I'm going to teach you today. Over the course of the next several hours, I'm going to share with you a proven step-by-step system for developing what I call outsmarting intelligence, the critical thinking skills, the strategic mindset, and the practical tools and techniques that will allow you to consistently outmaneuver your competition and achieve breakthrough results in your life and your career. Now, before we dive in, I want to acknowledge that for some of you, this may feel a bit uncomfortable or even intimidating. After all, going against the grain, challenging the status quo, and always looking to get an edge on everybody else, that can be a pretty tall order. It takes courage, it takes discipline, and it takes a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. But I can assure you, my friends, that the rewards are more than worth it. Because when you master the art of outsmarting everybody else, there is no limit to what you can achieve. You'll be able to spot trends and opportunities that other people miss, allowing you to get in early and capitalize on them before the competition even knows what's happening. You'll be able to anticipate the needs and desires of your customers or clients and deliver solutions that leave them saying, wow, how did you know exactly what I needed? And perhaps most importantly, you'll be able to future-proof your career and your income, ensuring that you're always one step ahead of the curve rather than constantly playing catch-up. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. The first key to outsmarting everybody else is what I call strategic foresight. The ability to look ahead and anticipate changes before they happen. See, most people are so caught up in the day-to-day demands of their work and their lives that they fail to step back and scan the horizon for emerging trends and shifts that could have a major impact on their industry or their market. But the true outliers, the people who consistently stay ahead of the curve, they make a habit of doing exactly that. They're constantly reading industry publications, following thought leaders and subject matter experts, attending conferences and events, and generally immersing themselves in the latest developments, innovations, and shifts happening in their field. And they use that information to map out potential scenarios and plan accordingly. They ask themselves questions like, how might advancements in technology impact my industry in the next 3-5 years? Or what demographic or lifestyle shifts are on the horizon that could create new needs and opportunities for my business? And by doing that, they're able to get out in front of those changes and position themselves to capitalize on them rather than being caught flat-footed like their competitors. They can start developing new products or services, refining their marketing and sales strategies, and making the necessary investments to ensure that they're ready to thrive in the new landscape while everybody else is still trying to figure out what hit them. Now, I know what you might be thinking Okay, that makes sense in theory, but how do I actually put that into practice? How do I develop that kind of strategic foresight? And that's a great question. The key is to start by identifying the critical drivers of change in your industry or your market. What are the big trends, the pivotal technologies, the demographic shifts, the regulatory changes, and the competitive dynamics that are likely to have the biggest impact on your business in the next 3 to 5 years? Once you've identified those key drivers, the next step is to start monitoring them closely. Set up Google alerts, follow the right industry publications and social media accounts, and make a habit of regularly scanning the horizon for any signs of change or disruption. And as you do that, start brainstorming potential scenarios and opportunities. If this trend continues, how might it impact my customers' needs and buying behavior? If that new technology takes off, how could I leverage it to get an edge on my competition? If that regulatory change goes through, what will I need to do to ensure my business is compliant and positioned to thrive? Now, I know that may sound like a lot of work, and it is. Developing strategic foresight is not something that happens overnight. It takes time, it takes focus, and it takes a genuine commitment to always staying one step ahead. But I can assure you, my friends, that the payoff is more than worth it. Because when you're able to consistently anticipate changes and position yourself to capitalize on them, you'll find that opportunities start presenting themselves left and right while your competition is constantly playing catch up. And that leads me to the next key component of outsmarting everybody else, which is what I call creative problem solving. You see, the true outliers, the people who rise to the top of their field, they don't just react to changes and challenges. They proactively seek them out. They're constantly on the lookout for problems to solve, inefficiencies to streamline, and pain points to alleviate. And they use their creativity and their innovative thinking to develop solutions that leave everybody else in the dust. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Brian, I'm not a naturally creative person. I'm just not wired that way. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that creativity is a skill. And like any other skill, it can be developed and honed over time. And the key is to start by training yourself to always be on the lookout for problems and opportunities. When you're talking to your customers or clients, for example, don't just listen for their words. Listen for the underlying needs and frustrations they're expressing. What are the pain points they're experiencing that you could potentially solve? What are the obstacles or inefficiencies that are holding them back that you could help them overcome? And when you're looking at your own business or your own role, adopt that same mindset. Where are the bottlenecks, the inefficiencies, the missed opportunities? What problems could you solve, or what value could you create if you just thought a little bit differently? Now, once you've identified those problems and opportunities, the next step is to start flexing your creative muscles. Brainstorm potential solutions, think outside the box. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. And don't just settle for the first idea that comes to mind. Keep refining and iterating until you come up with something truly innovative and game-changing. Now, I know that process can feel a bit daunting, especially if creativity doesn't come naturally to you. But the truth is, anyone can become a creative problem solver with the right mindset and the right techniques. It's all about training yourself to see the world through a different lens, to question assumptions, and to constantly seek out new and better ways of doing things. And when you do that, my friends, the results can be absolutely transformative. Because when you're able to consistently identify problems that other people are missing and then develop creative, innovative solutions to solve them, you instantly set yourself apart from the competition. You become the go-to expert, the trusted advisor, the one who always has the answer. And that, in turn, opens up all kinds of doors: higher paying clients, lucrative partnerships, sought after speaking opportunities, and the chance to truly position yourself as a thought leader in your field. Because at the end of the day, the people who can consistently outsmart everybody else are the ones who get to reap the biggest rewards. Now, the third key component of the art of outsmarting everybody else is what I call strategic agility. You see, in today's fast-paced, constantly changing business environment, the ability to quickly adapt and pivot is absolutely critical. The companies and the individuals who cling rigidly to the status quo, who refuse to change or evolve, they're the ones who get left behind. But the true winners, the true innovators and disruptors, they're the ones who cultivate a mindset of strategic agility. They're always scanning the horizon for new challenges and new opportunities, and they're ready and willing to shift gears at a moment's notice in order to capitalize on them. Now, I know that might sound a bit daunting. After all, change can be uncomfortable, and the idea of constantly having to reevaluate your strategies and your plans, that can feel a bit unsettling. But the truth is, strategic agility is not about being haphazard or directionless. It's about maintaining a clear sense of your ultimate goals and priorities while also being nimble and responsive enough to adjust your tactics and your approaches as needed. It's about having the courage to question your own assumptions, to experiment with new ideas, and to be willing to let go of things that are no longer working. And it's about cultivating the kind of organizational or individual culture that embraces change, celebrates innovation, and encourages everyone to constantly be on the lookout for better ways of doing things. Now, I know that's easier said than done. Developing that kind of strategic agility takes practice, it takes discipline, and it takes a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. But I can assure you, my friends, that the payoff is more than worth it. Because when you're able to consistently adapt and pivot in response to changing market conditions, emerging technologies, and shifting customer needs, you instantly set yourself apart from the competition. You become the company or the individual that people turn to when they need someone who can solve problems quickly and effectively. You become the go-to resource, the trusted advisor, the one who's always one step ahead of the curve. And that, in turn, opens up all kinds of doors. Higher paying clients, lucrative partnerships, sought after speaking opportunities, and the chance to truly position yourself as an indispensable asset in your industry. Now, the fourth and final key component of the art of outsmarting everybody else is what I call relationship capital. You see, at the end of the day, no matter how brilliant your strategies, how innovative your solutions, or how agile your approach, if you don't have the right connections and relationships in place, you're going to struggle to truly maximize your impact and your earning potential. Because the truth is, in today's hyper-connected, digitally driven world, your network is one of your most valuable assets. It's not just who you know, but how effectively you're able to leverage those connections to open doors, create opportunities, and get the support and resources you need to achieve your goals. And the really successful people, the true outliers who rise to the top of their field, they understand this on a deep level. They're constantly nurturing and expanding their networks, cultivating relationships with key influencers, industry leaders, potential partners, and strategic allies. They're always looking for ways to add value to the people in their lives, whether it's through introductions, referrals, sharing information and insights, or simply being a supportive, trusted confidant. And when they do that, my friends, the doors start to open. Suddenly they're getting invited to speak at industry conferences, they're being approached by high-profile clients and potential collaborators, and they're being seen as the go-to expert in their field. And it's all because they've taken the time to invest in building genuine, mutually beneficial relationships with the right people. Now, I know what you might be thinking, okay, that all sounds great, Brian, but how do I actually do that? How do I go about building that kind of relationship capital? And it's a great question. The key is to start by identifying the people and the connections that are going to be most valuable to you and your goals. Who are the thought leaders, the subject matter experts, the potential clients or partners in your industry that you should be connecting with, who can provide you with the information, the resources, the introductions, or the opportunities that can help you take your career or your business to the next level. Once you've identified those key individuals, the next step is to start reaching out and cultivating those relationships. And I don't just mean sending generic LinkedIn connection requests or attending the occasional networking event. I'm talking about taking a much more proactive, strategic approach. Get on the phone, schedule video calls, meet up for coffee or lunch, ask thoughtful questions, listen intently, and look for ways that you can genuinely add value to them and their goals. Share relevant information, make valuable introductions, offer to collaborate on projects whatever it takes to position yourself as a trusted, valuable resource in their eyes. And remember, this isn't about manipulation or trying to use people for your own gain. The key is to approach these relationships with a genuine spirit of generosity and service. Think about how you can help the other person achieve their objectives, and the rest will follow. Because at the end of the day, the people who are most successful at building relationship capital are the ones who are truly committed to creating win-win scenarios for everyone involved. Now, I know that all of this may sound like a lot to take in, my friends. Developing strategic foresight, honing your creative problem-solving skills, cultivating strategic agility, and building relationship capital, that's a lot to juggle. But I can assure you that the payoff is more than worth it. Because when you master the art of outsmarting everybody else, there is no limit to what you can achieve. You'll be able to consistently spot opportunities that others miss, develop innovative solutions that leave your competition in the dust, quickly adapt and capitalize on changing market conditions, and leverage your network to open doors and create game-changing breakthroughs. And the best part is you don't have to do it all at once. You can start small, focus on one or two key areas at a time, and gradually build up your skills and your capabilities over time. The important thing is to make a commitment to always thinking and acting differently, to constantly challenging the status quo, and to relentlessly seeking out better ways of doing things. Because at the end of the day, my friends, that's what separates the true outliers, the true innovators and disruptors from everybody else. It's not about working harder or being smarter. It's about seeing the world through a different lens, and then having the courage and the discipline to act on those insights in a way that leaves your competition in the dust. So I want to challenge all of you here today. Take a hard look at your life, your career, your business, and ask yourself, where am I simply going along with the crowd, and how can I start outsmarting everybody else? What changes do you need to make? What new skills do you need to develop? What connections do you need to build in order to truly set yourself apart and start achieving the kind of breakthrough results that you deserve? Because I can tell you from decades of experience, the people who master the art of outsmarting everybody else, they're the ones who go on to achieve extraordinary things. They're the industry leaders, the innovators, the disruptors who shape the future. And I truly believe that each and every one of you has that same potential within you. Let's get to work, my friends. Let's commit ourselves to developing that strategic foresight, that creative problem-solving mindset, that strategic agility, and that relationship capital. Let's challenge the status quo, question the conventional wisdom, and relentlessly seek out new and better ways of doing things. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm truly excited to see what you all go on to accomplish. Let's get started.